Hey everybody, we just got the new Bad Batch wave in from Australia. This is from my friend Syndicate Customs Creations on Instagram. I currently have my Season 1 Bad Batch figures displayed with custom heads by an artist called FetClone. They will both be linked below, but for the purposes of this review, we should take a look at the original head so you can see the before and after here. But we are going to take a look at those custom heads on the Season 2 figures at the end of the video, so make sure you stay tuned for that. It's so rare to be able to get a full squad all in one go, so this is a really exciting day for me. Remember last year or 2 years ago, it took like over a year to get all of the 5 Bad Batch figures all together, and even though the plastic-free packaging is going away, I always loved seeing the lineup of all the figures here, and having a complete squad like this is just very satisfying to the eye. Let's go ahead and get Hunter opened first. The Season 1 release of Hunter was the first figure that came out. I think he and Crosshair were in the same wave together, and both of those figures go for a very high amount on the aftermarket, like $80-$90 if not more. And I know a lot of people are torn on the Season 2 looks. I personally love them. I think they look so cool. I love this color palette, and I really like this kind of tropical aesthetic that Season 2 had, where they live on that island. I was actually lucky enough to be at the Bad Batch panel at Celebration 2022, where they actually revealed these looks in the trailer for the first time, so I already have that nostalgic attachment to these. The gun and the knife are the same that we've seen last time, and of course we're going to compare the two figures. The helmet fits on just the same way as Season 1. I think the helmet and the head sculpt are the same, even though you'll see in a second there is a lot of new sculpting on the body. I kind of thought that these were all just straight repaints when I first saw the characters, but you can see just like the leg sculpts, the holsters, the midriff, the arms, like there's so much brand new here, as well as the scarf piece, which I think really bridges that gap between the neck and the shoulders. If you look at the Season 1 figure, it looks a little broad, and then the helmet is the same exact sculpt as far as I can tell. Let me know in the comments below if you are a helmet on or helmet off displayer when it comes to characters like this, but I'm going to keep the helmets on all of them, and that's just so we can just see how they all look together towards the end. The obvious complaint with Tech from Season 1 was that his goggles were attached to his helmet, so if you took them off, you just got this goggle-less head for Tech that looked kind of strange. So now we have the goggles separate from the helmet. And be very careful when unboxing these tools because they are all pretty small. There are 5 small pieces. Make sure you get all of them. I'm really impressed to see the clear yellow lenses on these glasses. That looks really, really nice. These are Walmart exclusives, but I have to say they have the kind of like level of detail that you see in a lot of deluxe figures with, when they have the deluxe price because they come with the slightly better paint jobs. But I don't know, I'm really impressed with these so far. They are nice and clean, and I think they nailed the color palette. It doesn't look too vibrant and bright. It still looks pretty cool. I forgot to mention earlier, but I did do some dark washing and dry brushing on my Season 1 figures, so there's some weathering going on, so it's not a perfect comparison in terms of color and paint and all of that. So you are going to see a lot more like detail and that stuff on the Season 1 figures, just because I have customized them so much. And I didn't realize that these extra 2 tools were actually the antennas on his backpack. I don't know why they are coming separate in the backpack this time, but I guess you can see from my Season 1 that they did bend a little bit, so I guess maybe this is to prevent that from happening. The helmet is actually a pretty tight squeeze. It was a little bit difficult to get it on, and then once you have it on, it was a little tricky to get off. We'll see that in a second, but you do really have to use a decent amount of force here. But I think the face painting is pretty secure where you're not going to scratch anything visibly. And then having the clear lenses here just looks so nice. This is such an upgrade from the Season 1 figure. When you want to remove the helmet, the best practice is to just kind of pull from the back and peel forward. And then this backpack was the only one out of the wave that was giving me issues, so I used a little bit of black tack. I just kind of put it on the edge there, and then once it squeezes on, it just gives that extra little bit of friction. I love that each character has their own color scheme, just slightly different but all complementary to each other. Next we have Wrecker. He of course is in the deluxe packaging. His color scheme for Season 2 is my favorite of the batch. I love these muted earthy tones with the forest green and the browns and the orange. From what I can tell, the knife is the same that we had in the Season 1 appearance. And then he has this cool little strap to hold his gun in place, so you kind of tuck that through and then you can plug it into this little hole here. It's not an ideal situation, but I think with the design of the gun, wanting to get it holstered, especially since he has that alternate weapon in the knife, you kind of want to have his gun holstered, probably more so than other figures. And then we do see a nice scale upgrade in the Commando Blaster from the Season 1 appearance. This one is a lot larger. This is a custom Lula that I 3D printed from Skylu 3D Designs, and we can see how the shoulder pad on the left is new. As far as I can tell, the helmet sculpt is exactly the same. You can see the paint job is different. Again, I've done a lot of custom weathering on my Season 1 figures, but we see the backpacks are roughly the same, just with a different paint job. Get his helmet on and set him aside to compare all of the figures together later. This one I think is my favorite of the wave. We've only got one more figure to unbox here. Of course, we're gonna open Echo now. He doesn't include that weird claw hand that the season 1 figure came with that he never ended up using in the show. He has this really skinny little peg that you can easily bend if you're not careful. It's the same way that the season 1 backpack was designed. And then it looks like we have the same head and helmet. Oh, that just popped right off with the helmet, but it'll stick that back on and then properly take off the helmet here. Same way that the season 1 helmet comes on and off. This looks like pretty much the same sculpt, but if you look closely, there are actually several differences, including the camo piece. The skirt around his waist is a totally new sculpt, and these shoulder pads have more of a bevel in them than they did in season 1. You can see that around the edge there. It's a tangible element that's different. And then the kneecaps are different. He has those big circles around his knees in the season 1 figure, but not in the season 2 one. We'll get that helmet on properly this time. And then what's disappointing here is he only has one gun-wielding hand, and it doesn't have a trigger finger. So none of these characters have a trigger finger on their left hand, which I think is a little disappointing when a character comes with 2 guns. Here they are all together. I absolutely love the way that these look together. This is one of my favorite squads that is on my shelf. Now the part that I'm most excited for is seeing how these look with these custom heads by Fet Clone. Again, this artist will be linked below. You absolutely have to check out his work if you have not already seen plenty of it on my channel. I feature his stuff a lot. This Wrecker head suddenly looks kind of small. I might have to make some adjustments there. And then the Hunter hair kind of interferes with the scarf. And then Tech looks incredible as is. I ended up lowering Wrecker's head and I flipped Hunter's scarf around so it doesn't interfere with the longer hair anymore. And I am in love with how these look. This is definitely going to be the way that these are going to be displayed on my shelf. If you enjoyed this video and you like my review style, please give this video a like. Subscribe if you would like to see more from me and the channel. And I'll see you all next time.